Welcome back to Decked Out.
On today's episode, we're joined by Cherries. And thanks to our Patron sponsor, BigDaddyMagic, each player has brought to the table a deck that features tokens.
As always, thank you to our sponsors, Tales of Adventure, Moxfield, and Ultimate Guard. And today's episode sponsor, the Evoke the Art Bespoke Token Series. But more on that later in the video.
That's enough from us for now. Let's go ahead and meet the players.
Hey everyone, I'm Cherries. I make YouTube content on the channel, the Everything Video Game channel, where I make long videos about everything video games. And today, I'm playing Thalia and the Gitrog Monster. This is one of my babies. It is an absolutely awesome deck that is focused completely on landfall. We're going to use Thalia's ability to get that extra landfall each turn, and then those landfalls are going to create tokens that'll sacrifice the Thalia and the Gitrog Monster to draw cards, and that is the whole deck.
Hello everybody, I'm MTGNerdGirl, and today I am playing one of the lists submitted by one of our patron sponsors, BigDaddyMagic, and we are going to be playing Breya, Ethereum Sculptor. So this deck is built to take advantage of all the ETB and death triggers of all of the little Thopters that Breya will make, so sort of an aristocrat's take. The general game plan is to outvalue my opponents with extra Thopters and cards from all of those aristocrat triggers, but if I need a little help, there's also some infinite combos hidden in the deck.
I'm Airball, and today I'm cheating with Faldorn, Dreadwolf, Herald. It's technically a token deck. We are making a bunch of wolves, but really this is just an Izzet deck in disguise. We're casting a bunch of spells that care about being cast from exile, generating huge amounts of mana, and trying to take the table out from nowhere. Look for cards like Delayed Blast Fireball, Jeska's Will being even more broken than it usually is, and just a board full of wolves that can take over if the spells can't.
I'm VeggieWagon, and today I'm going to be making tokens with one of my forever decks, the Third Doctor and Tegan Jovanka. There's always going to be support for treasures, clues, and food, so there are always going to be new cards to be able to pump up the Third Doctor. And it helps if he's trampling and indestructible, so I can take out players with commander damage. But I also have some real tricky cards like Asinine Antics that allow me to come out of nowhere to eliminate a player.
Today's episode sponsor is the Evoke the Art Bespoke Token Series.
Now, we were already fans of these tokens, but thanks to you and your suggestions, they've expanded their selection of tokens to dinosaurs and dragons and everything in between.
In fact, they even have tokens outside of the letter D. In fact, there are more than 45 different arts, some of which featuring art from your favorite content creators.
So at least if you're going to destroy Nurgle's commander 5 times in a game, you get to handle this nice little elephant.
If you would like to get more information about the Evoke the Art Bespoke Token Series, make sure you head on over to their website, where you can pick up all of their previous tokens and even pre-order their most recent bundle.
All right, well, we're going to get to see these tokens in action in today's game, so let's get to it. Here's an elephant.
Welcome to the table. Let's see who goes first. 15.
19.
7.
I'm gonna fall behind on mana, because I'm going last.
I'll draw. Oh, that's perfect. I will play a Spar's Headquarters and pass the turn.
All right, I will draw, and I will play an Arid Mesa. That's right, off-color fetches in the Cherries. In fetch. Boop. All right, I will get Indartha Triumph and pass.
All right, I'm going to shock in a Godless Shrine. And I want you all to remember that I'm losing now.
That is true.
Because then I'm going to play an Esper Sentinel. A 1/1 that says whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, I get to draw a card unless they pay X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. And I'll pass. Esper Sentinel is such a great card. Even if you don't get to draw a ton of cards with him, you are setting your opponents on sort of this off-balance start to the game. They're incentivized to not play things that aren't worth playing super early to prevent me from getting cards. So either way, I'm getting what I want.
That's inconvenient.
Hehehe. Feed me.
Just tap Triumph and pass. Easy.
Close. I'm gonna play this tapped Spine Rock Knoll. It is a land with Hideaway 4, ETB is tapped, and for a red and a tap, I can play the exiled card from Hideaway without paying its mana cost if an opponent was dealt 7 or more damage this turn. I'm gonna hide away this card, and I'll pass. The card I chose was Delayed Blast Fireball. This is already a pretty powerful card to cast from exile, but in addition, if my opponents deal damage to each other in their own combat steps, and their creatures take damage in the meantime, then this is even more powerful because it can level the board after they've already beaten each other up.
I'm going to play Yavimaya Coast and pay 2 for Sunscape Familiar. It's an 0/3 with Defender, and green and blue spells I play cost 1 less to play. I'll pass.
We're off to a slow start. I guess I will just play Heft Bajukabog and make Veggie Exile his grave.
I need those cards.
Too bad. Exile them.
All right.
Pass the turn.
All right, Great Furnace is my land for turn. It just makes red, but it is notable that it's an artifact. And then we're gonna get a little ramp going. We're gonna play an Arcane Signet. And then I'll tap that Arcane Signet to play a Shadow Spear. It's a good card that says the equipped creature gets +1/+1, has trample and lifelink. I can pay 1 to make permanents opponents control lose hexproof and indestructible till end of turn, and it equips for 2.
Oh no, your Lotus Fields.
Oh no.
Let's go ahead and, Joe.
But I'm already losing.
No, you're not. NerdGirl's losing.
All right.
Now we're even.
All right, we're even.
Pass. Airball went last. I couldn't also poke him.
I would have.
Well, as thanks for not hitting me, I guess, I'm going to play this Command Tower as land for turn. I'm going to pay 2 for a Nature's Lore, and I'm not going to pay the 1 for Esper Sentinel.
Woohoo!
I get to search my library for a forest, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle. All right, and I'm going to put this Cinderglade as the Nature's Lore land into play, and then I'll pass.
Right, who's getting hit with this wall? I'm going to play a Deserted Beach, and then I'm going to tap 3 for my commander, the Third Doctor. Is a 2/2 with trample for some reason. Gets +1/+1 for each non-creature token I control, and when he enters the battlefield, I create a clue, a food, or a treasure. I am going to grab a clue. Look at that clue. And that means that he is now a 3/3. I will choose not to attack with my wall and pass the turn.
A bold choice. I will untap. All right, I will play a Scrubland. Tap. Play Spring Bloom Druid. I will sacrifice my Bojukabog and go get 2 lands. I will get a forest and a swamp onto the battlefield tapped, and that'll be my turn. Go ahead, nerd girl.
Vault of Whispers just makes black, but again, notable that it's an artifact. And I guess it's just time to start the party. And we're going to play the commander, Breya Ethereum Shaper. She's a 4/4 that says when she comes into play, I can make 2 Thopters. I can also pay 2, sack 2 artifacts to either deal 3 damage to a player or a planeswalker, give a creature -4/-4, or can gain 5 life. So let's make some little Thopter friends. And Airball. Take 1.
The Nature's Lore thing.
But I can't leave it on the table. This isn't one of those pods.
Fine.
So now it means you have to pay for Esper Sentinel.
Yeah,
That is-
I think that's right. I
That
think that's
follows
true. Yep.
logically.
I'll pass.
I'm going to play this Strip Mine as my land for turn. I can use it to destroy target land, but we're not going to do that quite yet. We're going to instead pay 3 mana for Lelia, the Blade Reforged. It is a 2/2 haste. Whenever she attacks, I can exile the top card of my library and play that card this turn. And whenever I exile 1 or more cards from my library or my graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on her. So I'm going to go to combat, and Lelia is going to swing over at Joe.
Yeah, figured.
We're going to get a trigger. We're going to exile the top card of my library. That is an Inspired Tinkering, so that's not going to get played this turn. But we will put a +1/+1 counter on Lelia for the privilege.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to block much more damage than 3, so we'll just chump and have Spring Bloom Druid die.
All right. And for my last trick, we're going to pay 1 green to suspend Search for Tomorrow. Search my library for a basic land card and put it into play and then shuffle, but it has to happen 2 turns from now. And that's the turn.
Hey. I'm going to play a Hedge Maze. It'll end attempt, but I can surveil 1.
Your deck is complex when you have to read your own cards. I know I put it in here.
Yeah, I got to keep that on top.
Oh, yeah. Must be a spicy one.
That's a good one. I'm going to pay 3 for my other commander, Tegan Jovanka, a 2/2 with Brave Heart. Whenever you attack, target attacking historic creature gets +1/+1 and gains indestructible until end of turn. That means that this old tramply man gets bigger and just can't die. Just like in Doctor Who, where they can never die.
I was going to say, I don't know the flavor of Doctor Who, but that doesn't feel right.
I'm going to go to combat. And I think while I can I'm going to send for it Nerd Girl. That's a scary board.
No blocks. I will take 4 commander damage.
That's the turn.
All right, let's untap. Draw a card. All right. It's time to just tap 4 mana and play Thalia and the Gitrog monster.
A vanilla 4/4. All right, Nerd Girl, your turn.
Thalia is a vanilla 4/4 with a ton of abilities. First strike, death touch. I can play an additional land each turn. My opponent's non-basic lands all enter tapped. And whenever I attack with Thalia and the Gitrog monster, I can sacrifice a land or creature to draw a card. All right, so I have 2 land drops for my turn now, which I will make these 2 lands, a forest and a swamp, and then I will pass to Nerd Girl.
I'm going to just pay 1 to equip the Shadow Spear onto the Esper Sentinel, making you guys have to pay a little bit more or let me have some cards. And then let's just, I don't really like Thalia.
Why not?
So Thalia, I'm swinging 2 1/1 Thopters at you.
No blockers.
I think I'm going to have to miss my land drop. I will pass the turn.
In my upkeep, one of the time counters comes off of Search for Tomorrow. We are 1 turn away from that happening, hopefully. All right, Nerd Girl, I don't think you want to block this Laelia. So I'm going to swing. I'm going to exile the top card of my library. It is a mountain. I'm going to put a counter on Laelia and invite you to block.
I'll block.
Go to damage.
I'll flash in a Mithril Coat. It's a flash equipment that has Indestructible itself and gives a creature Indestructible, and when I cast it, I can equip it to a legendary creature.
Okay, go to damage.
Yeah.
I did my part, Table. She's tapped out now.
Playing Mithril Coat into all of Airball's open land was pretty rough, but honestly, it's the only play I had to make.
Also, it turns out sorcery speed removal not great against Mithril Coat.
That is true.
All right, then we're going to go ahead and pay 3 for my commander, Faldorn Dreadwolf Herald. Whenever I cast a spell from exile or a land enters the battlefield under my control, I get to make a 2/2 wolf. And then for 1 and a tap and discard a card, I can exile the top card of my library and play it this turn. Then I'm going to go ahead and play this mountain from Laelia earlier that will trigger Faldorn. I'm going to get a wolf.
Ow.
Awoo.
Werewolves in London.
And we'll go to Old Men in London, passing the turn.
Oh, right. That's the card that I surveilled.
Yeah, that you thought was funny and you were very happy about.
That's a great card. I'm going to play this first. And I'm going to pay 1, 2, 3 for this Parallel Lives. It's an enchantment. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under my control, and it creates twice that many tokens instead.
Are you going to pay 2?
I don't want to, but I... How many cards you got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Don't show them to you. She'll just count them under the table, and you'll have to assume she's not lying.
Hammy's just fetching cards from her office.
I don't got anything else I'm doing with this. Pay!
Boo.
Well, you know what doesn't beat Indestructible? First strike and death touch. Go to combat. The third doctor for you, Joe. 1, 2, 3, and a +1 and Indestructible.
Alrighty, I will take 4 commandy damage. 2, 3, 4.
Pass turn.
Boop. Usually with Thalia and the Gitrog monster having first strike and death touch, I am 0% worried about getting attacked. But the combination of Indestructible and Trample on the third doctor, that's not good for me. I can't stop that. Alright, Nerd Girl, I'm gonna be your friend. Remember I was your friend. I'll play Crucible Worlds, which I'm absolutely 100% not paying it.
Woohoo!
So you will draw a card. I will then, from my graveyard, play my first land for turn, which will be this Arid Mesa, and I will fetch.
Wow, you can't get the land you want because it's an off-color fetch in that deck, Joe?
How about you? I don't. This is the only deck out of my 10 decks is the only one with off-color fetches, and it's because it really wants to land drops. I will get a Savannah as my land. Tap 4. Sorry, this one doesn't trigger Esper Sentinel.
That's okay.
It is Retreat to Emeria, which is 4 mana. Landfall, I either make a 1/1 core ally creature token, or creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. And then I will play my second land for turn, which will also be the same Arid Mesa.
Oh.
And I will fetch we will trigger. We will get a 1/1. Boop. And then we'll fetch, and we're going to get a tap land and get another 1/1. I will get a Temple Garden tapped as my land, which got me the second human, and I'll pass. All right, Crucible Worlds early is super vital to this deck. This deck loves playing fetch lands. In fact, it has every single one it can play. So I'm going to have a fetch land in the graveyard, and I'm going to keep playing it over and over again. And that's how we're going to keep getting land drops.
Okay. Now I'm going to draw the land. I feel it. Joe helped me dig one extra.
I got you.
No. All right. This is going to be the saddest thing of all time. I'm going to cast Imperial Seal. I'm going to search my library for a card, then shuffle my library and put it on top. I will lose 2 life. I will put that mystery card on top. No one knows what I did. Joe, you still scare me. Take 2 Thopter damage, my friend.
That is fair. I will take 2 top the damage.
And I'll pass the turn. I really need to find the second blue source. Having to Imperial Seal for a basic island is rough, but I have to get it because it'll unlock the rest of my hand.
All right. In my upkeep, we're going to take the last counter off Search for Tomorrow. I will choose to cast it, and I will also have to pay 2 if I want to. I thought it was 1. I forgot about that.
You have mana.
I have mana, but I have things to do.
This seems like your get busy turn.
I already know what this card is. I'm drawing it regardless. You might as well just let me have it.
It's super busted, and I'm sure it's at instant speed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a basic land. The one after that, I don't know though.
This one you can have.
Yes. Thanks.
So I'm casting a spell from exile, so I'm going to get a second wolf.
Awoo.
Then I'll put this forest into play off of the search, and I'm going to get a second summoning sick wolf. And then I'll draw. We're going to pay 2 for a Cryptolith Rite. It says the creatures I control tap to have 1 mana of any color. And then we're going to go ahead and pay 4, using the non-summoning sick wolf, for Visions of Phyrexia. So it's the beginning of my upkeep. I exile the top card of my library and I can play it this turn. The beginning of my end step, if I didn't play a card from exile this turn, I make a tapped Power Stone token instead. Then I'm going to go ahead and play this Balaged's Sanctuary tapped as my land for turn, and we'll say go. I did play a spell from exile. It was the Cascade, or the Suspend card earlier, so I don't get a Power Stone.
All right, you look very scary now. Untapping with Paralyze is a very scary spot for you to be.
There is. I'm going to play this Plains. Sorry, Thalia. That's untapped. Then I'm going to...
Why are you talking crap to Thalia?
Yeah.
Taste it, Thalia.
I'm going to pay 2 for Oko, Thief of Crowns. Oko, Thief of Crowns is a planeswalker. It comes in with 4 loyalty for some reason. You can +2 to make a food token. You can +1 to turn an artifact or creature into a 3/3 elk with no abilities. And I can -5 to do something that nobody has ever done. But I can switch control of target artifact or creature. And another thing that you have that is power 3 or less. Sure. I'm going to plus and make a food.
Veggie, are you also paying the 2 for your spell?
I will not pay the 2.
Fantastic.
You're actually very correct. That does not see play almost anywhere.
Nowhere. Yeah, for some reason. I'll be honest, I don't think that Oko Thief of Crowns is very good in Commander. But in my deck, as a consistent source of food tokens, some weird removal, and an occasional sneaky exchange, it is perfect. So the third Doctor is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 if I target it with Tegan. Well, Airball, you haven't gotten any sweet, sweet third Doctor damage yet, right?
No.
I'd like to go to combat and send you some of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll make it 6 indestructible trample.
Sorry, dog. Or not, dog. We're going to block with the wolf.
All right, take 4. And that's a pretty good choice. Because now what we're going to do is pay 2 for this Vanquish the Horde. It costs 1 less for each creature on the battlefield and destroy all creatures, but the third Doctor is indestructible. I almost never play symmetrical board wipes, but if one of your commanders can give your other commander indestructible, then every board wipe is to your advantage.
Brina is also indestructible, but I don't think that's quite enough for my taste, so I'm also going to cast Teferi's Protection in response. Until end of turn. Until my next turn, my life total can't change, and I gain protection from everything. All permanents I control phase out.
Well, sorry.
All right, yeah, we're taking that. Thalia, you're going to the command zone.
Well, Joe can go hog wild on their turn. No Esper Sentinel anymore.
Whee!
Oh man, that makes me unhappy.
Veggie cast a Planeswalker and a board clear in the same turn and is unhappy.
Yeah, because now Oko's gonna get hit. I'm going to pay 1 for a Delighted Halfling, which can tap for mana and makes my legendary spells uncounterable if I use it. And I'll pass the turn.
Untap. Pay 6 for Thalia and the Gitrog Monster, Part 2. I'll shock myself. Boop, boop. Play my second land, this Arid Mesa, and I will fetch. I'll get a Plains and make the 3/1/1 humans. And then, tax-free, I will play this Seer's Sundial. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card.
I remember seeing those sundials in the Sears catalog. Shipping was a nightmare, but
They are really big.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
They kept getting dropped during delivery.
yeah.
Basic land for turn. Yay.
Dang, that's so lucky.
I will pay 4 for a Thopter Spy Network. It's an enchantment that says at the beginning of my upkeep, I get to make a Thopter if I control an artifact. And whenever one or more artifact creatures I control deal combat damage to a player, I get to draw a card. All right, so we're going to go 1 Thopter and Breya and Esper Sentinel to Oko, and 1 Thopter to Veggie, just because I want to draw a card from my Spy Network.
All right, I will put the Delighted Halfling in front of Breya, and then Oko is going to take 3, and I will take 1.
And I'll draw a card, and then I will pass the turn.
In my upkeep, we have a Visions of Phyrexia trigger. I'm going to exile Prismatic Vista, which is not very good against Thalia at all. I'll draw a card. I don't think there's much better here than just paying 5 to bring Faldorn back into play. Then I'll play this Prismatic Vista from exile. It'll enter tapped because of stupid Thalia. I don't think it actually does. I think you made up that line of text.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
This is textless 7-line card, which Magic has become very infamous for lately.
Seems like a choice.
It definitely was. They did it with Omnath too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get a Faldorn trigger from playing that Prismatic Vista. At least we're going to get another wolf and pass.
Hey, I'm going to start by playing Rosie Cotton of South Lane. 1/1, when she enters the battlefield, I create a food token, and when I create a token of any kind, I put a +1/+1 counter on target creature I control other than Rosie. So I will make 2 foods because of Parallel Lives, and I will put 2 +1/+1 counters on the only other creature that I control. And then I'm just gonna plus Oko and make more foods. So that'll be 2 more foods, 2 more counters, and the third Doctor is suddenly a 13/13 with trample. Rosie Cotton is a powerhouse in this deck. With just 1 token doubler on the board, that means every token is going to be pumping the Doctor by 4. I'm going to go to combat. And I will send this 13/13 old man with trample at Airball.
Wow.
That's mean.
I see a lot of mana. I see Commander on board and the Cryptolith, right?
I'm going to take 13 Commander.
Yeah! I will pass the turn. I think that Airball has the most single turn explosive potential, so I need to make sure that I have a nearly lethal amount of commander damage already on him so that I can make deals or just eliminate him at my own will.
I can't believe Veggie swung his Commander at me for 13. I mean, it was the right choice. I just didn't expect him to figure that out. I'm pretty explosive, but it doesn't look like that to someone who's not very good at Magic. So it was surprising.
Start my turn off by tapping 5 manas to play Obnixilis the Fallen. This is a 5-mana 3/3 landfall. When a land enters the battlefield under my control, target player loses 3 life, and I put 3 +1/+1 counters on Obnixilis. Well, let's start getting some landfall triggers. We will play Arid Mesa from my graveyard, triggering Obnixilis, draining Random choice, VeggieWagon for 3.
Oh, all right. Yeah, RNG.
Yeah, RNG, I can't help. I roll a dice in my mind and it picked you.
Right.
3 counters. And then we'll get a 1/1 human up to 4.
Oh.
Whoa, hey. All right. Fetch. I am running out of fetchables for my Arid Mesa at this point. It is legitimately happening. But we'll go down to 25 and see what we have left in the deck. Plains enters. Veggie, drain you for 3. Get 3 more counters. I know, random is just not on your side
It's
today.
unlucky.
And get another human. All right, let's replay the Arid Mesa. I'll drain NerdGirl randomly selected this time.
Oh, now we know that it's random.
Yeah, it's very random. We'll go up counters there. We'll go up to 6 of these guys. And then we'll fetch. Get a plains. Again, this time randomly select a veggie. How is this happening? More counters here. 7 here. Lose a life for my fetch. Go up to 7 guys. Now, I know this is a weird time to play this card after playing 4 land drops, but I will play Adventure of Zendikar after playing 4 land drops.
I'm a little behind. It's fine.
I will get 12 of these 0/1 plants. Only 12 of them. And I don't think my attacks are actually crazy good. Not enough can attack. I don't think it's worth attacking you. I will pass. Next turn, everything can attack.
Oh.
All right. I do have an artifact, so my Thopter Spy Network will make 1 little summoning stick Thopter. All right, I don't think I have a ton of choice. I need to slow Joe down. So we're going to play Elishnorn, Mother of Machines. She's a 4/7 with Vigilance and says, permanents entering the battlefield, if they would trigger an ability my opponents control, they just don't. If they trigger an ability I control, we get to do it an extra time.
All right, that Elishnorn absolutely shuts down all of the landfall on my deck. So my lands entering the battlefield are not going to be making me tokens anymore. But come my turn, I'm not going to care about it.
All right, I need to hit my land drop. So I want to hit Oko, but I also want to draw some lands.
Yeah. You can hit me. I mean, like now you've played a thing I'm very pleased with.
But I don't want to hit you. I want to hit Oko.
Great. Well,
all right, I'm going to go 1 Thopter to Veggie and 1 Thopter to Joe.
I have no blocks.
I also have no blocks.
I'm going to get to draw 2 cards off the Thopter Spy Network. One of them's a land. It's a Watery Grave. It's going to come into play tapped.
Now, wait. You have a choice.
Oh, yeah.
You could pay 2 life and still have an enter tapped.
No, thank you.
I have played a lot of my Thalion the Get Rogue Monster deck, and I am absolutely shocked that no one is forgetting to put their lands in tapped. What is going on? Everybody forgets that line of text in this card, and I have a textless one, so no one can even see what's going on.
I am going to go, I have 8 cards, I'll go to discard, and I'm going to discard Sword of the Meek, which, sneaky, will come back. And then I will pass the turn. Now that I strategically got to 8 cards so I can discard Sword of the Meek, I can infinite on my turn. I just need to get there.
All right, now I get to untap this Prismatic Vista. In my upkeep, we get a Visions of Phyrexia trigger. Survey says, oh.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a Jessica's Will. And then I'm gonna draw a card. I'm actually not that happy to see this Jessica's Will. I'm kind of priced into playing it this turn, but I think it's gonna make me look like a huge threat, and I don't think I can generate enough to kill the table right now. So I'm a little worried. In the interest of deck thinning, I'm going to pay 1 life and crack this Prismatic Vista and get a basic forest. I don't know where this road is gonna lead. We're gonna go down this road together. I'm gonna pay 3, and here's Jessica's Will. We know what Jessica's Will does. It's a 3-mana sorcery. Choose 1 if you control a commander, which I do. Choose both. Add 1 red mana for each card in target opponent's hand. That's going to be NerdGirl. And I get to exile the top 3 cards in my library, and I can play them this turn. Jessica's Will itself is being played from exile, so Faldorn will trigger, and I'll make another wolf.
But I think, actually, it might be 1 even more, because you put that on the stack targeting me, and then you let me draw off Esper Sentinel before it resolves, right? So you might even get an extra one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
That is an excellent point. So I will decline to pay for Esper Sentinel, and I'll take my best friend on this show, the red mana pool counter.
All right.
No.
Thanks for the card. I have 8 now.
All right, here's the 3 hits off of Jessica's Will. Decimate, Wand of Wonder, and Creative Technique. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to pay 4 red mana to cast Wand of Wonder. Wand of Wonder says pay 4 and roll a d20. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library till they hit an instant or sorcery card. And if I roll a 1 through 9, I get to cast 1 of them. If I roll a 10 through 19, I get to cast 2 of them. And if I roll a 20, I get to cast all 3. We're going to use the remaining 4 mana to activate the Wand of Wonder.
Conveniently freeing up your d20.
Conveniently freeing up my d20. It's a 17. I will get 2 of these. While you're doing that, I did cast this Wand of Wonder from exile, so I will get an additional wolf.
I got a Clever Concealment.
Here is an Officious Interrogation and Joe's Soul Shatter.
So we get 2 of these. We're going to have Officious Interrogation target Joe. So I will get X clues, where X is the number of creatures that Joe controls.
All right, I control 12, 13, 20, 1, 2, 22 creatures. Having 20 plus creatures on my side of the board usually isn't much of a downside. It's usually all upside. But Airball turned into a little bit of downside by making 22 clues. Luckily, that wasn't Veggie's deck, because if Veggie played that card, I think I'd be dead.
And then Soul Shatter, I think, needs to be cast targeting NerdGirl.
Well,
Opponent.
the good thing is it doesn't target.
Oh my god, I have never played this in a multiplayer setting before.
This is a very good card.
Let's cast Soul Shatter and trigger Faldorn. So we've cast 2 more spells. We're going to get 2 more wolves. And please sacrifice a planeswalker or creature with the highest CMC that you control.
You sure you want to do that? I mean, I'm... Mommy, this stuff?
Fine. I think you've convinced me. I'll let the Soul Shatter go. I will cast the Clever Concealment for free, choosing to exile none of my things. And we will have 4 summoning sick wolves and 1 non-summoning sick wolf. 22 clues.
How many?
22.
Okay.
God.
It was actually a surprisingly tough decision whether or not to kill Elish Norn, because I have an Atali in my hand, which she's turning off. But I think as long as Joe doesn't kill me on their turn, and Elish Norn is stopping them from making any plays, I'm going to be able to untap, and I think I have enough to win the game even without Atali. All right, for my next trick, I'm going to pay 5 to demonstrate Creative Technique. Shuffle your library, then reveal cards from the top until you reveal a non-land card. Exile it. You can cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. And I can copy it if I choose someone else who gets to cast the spell for free as well. Gets a copy of Creative Technique. Veggie, have a copy of Creative Technique.
Ooh.
Okay. I'll take that. Mine resolves first.
Yours does. First, we're going to get a Faldorn trigger for the actual casting of Creative Technique. So we'll get a 5th wolf. And then, by all means.
Airball, can you give me a cut?
Sure.
What are we?
Here we go.
I feel like there's probably some just stupid token thing in there.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's top card. It's a Witch Enchanter. It's a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, I destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls.
That'd be cool if there wasn't an Elish Norn in the field.
It would be cool if there wasn't an Elish Norn on the field.
You get a 2/2 for a 0. That's not bad.
Yeah, what a deal. I'll cast it.
Okay, now I get my 2 copies of Creative Technique, and we'll cascade basically until we hit a Tinkali Hunter, which is a 7/7 adventure creature. The creature side is trample, and once each turn, I can pay 0 instead of pay the mana cost for a creature spell that I cast from exile. And the adventure side says that exile target creature card from your graveyard until the end of your next turn. You can cast that card. We're going to take the 7/7 side.
Yep.
That's cast, so we'll get a Faldorn trigger, and we'll have 6 of these wolves. And here's our second Creative Technique. We get a Beast Within. Destroy target permanent. Controller makes a 3/3 beast.
So you can run it back on Mommy if you regret your decision.
I guess we're going to go beast mode on the Third Doctor.
Hated that episode.
When Marshawn Lynch was... when the Third Doctor actually ran the Seahawks offense and Marshawn Lynch actually ran for the touchdown.
That was the one episode that he was actually able to travel through time and go forward to see Marshawn Lynch.
All right. I will take 2 beasts.
2 beasts.
And
Thanks, Parallel Lines.
for casting the Beast Within, I'll get an additional wolf. Then I suppose I'm just going to have to let this decimate turn into a pumpkin. I'll pass to my end step. I will not get a Power Stone this turn.
No.
I guess not, yeah.
And I'll pass to Veggie.
Yeah, at the end of your turn, I'm just going to sacrifice this clue and draw a card.
End of turn, sacrifice a clue. The power.
Yeah. I'm going to pay 6, and I'm just going to replay the third Doctor, who does not do anything when he enters the battlefield, but at least he's kind of big. And at this point, I don't think it's worth elking anything, because, like, then there's no one single thing that is a problem that then does not turn its controller on me. So, food.
You mean 2 food?
Two food.
Nom 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 nom.
And I created 2 tokens, so I'll put 2 counters onto the third Doctor, which I'm pretty sure works under Elish Norn. And then I will pass.
All right. I will start my turn off with an Arid Mesa, which we have no triggers.
No.
We have no.
You could have had all of those triggers.
I could have had all those triggers. I will not get any of those triggers. And then I will fetch up.
You just get to take 1 damage. Got him.
Get this plains, triggering nothing. And then I will play this forest from my hand as my land for turn. Then we're gonna, I believe it's called Going for the Gusto. 5, 5, 4. 14 total mana for Finale of Devastation. X equals 12. I get to search my library or graveyard for a creature with converted mana cost X less, put it on the battlefield, and then if X is 10 or greater, which it is, my creatures will get +X, and haste.
Oh, so we're just dead.
Esper trigger.
Yeah. What Veggie said. I'll draw a card.
There's actually a lot of creatures on board, and I'm not sure I have enough to kill everybody here. So let me get what I'll get and see and go from there.
Finale gives trample.
It does not.
Okay.
And now, with the amount of blockers, this would be close, but with the finale, I will get Elish Norn, Mommy, the original Mommy, and not new Mommy, which will give all creatures -2/-2, and all of my creatures +2/+2.
It's enter the battlefield, right? All right, so that doesn't work. It's entering the battlefield.
So
Yeah, it's true. It can only do it on the battlefield.
Yikes.
that kills all of our blockers, right, guys?
I have some real little ones left.
Yep. So I believe I am going to spread this pretty evenly across everybody, which should kill everybody. I believe. I'm not positive.
Now that all the wolves are gone, yeah, you have. I think you were like 1 attacker short with all of our stuff, and like a big trampler would have done it. So good game.
Good game.
Hey.
Hey, Veggie, what are you called when you can't sleep and you get a bunch of food?
I don't know, Nerd Girl. What am I called?
An insomnumnumnumnumniac.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
That last turn around the table, all I was thinking is, please let me untap. Please let me untap so I can win the game, because I had the finale of Devastation. And I think, honestly, Elish Norn made me look like less of a threat. But it wasn't true, because in my hand was the real winner of the game.
Don't forget to check out today's episode sponsor, the Evoke the Art Bespoke Token Series.
And the best part about these tokens is not even something that you can see. It's the smooth, velvety laminate finish.
You can get all the information you need from their website, and you can even pick up their brand new Jim Davis token.
Link in the description.
What about like the frog tongue?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's frogs to reach.
Yeah, literally what? The card frog tongue that gives reach.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are making that card up.
That is a real card with a very funny art.
That game was actually a lot closer than it looked. I already had Sword of the Meek into the graveyard, and I was going to bring it back with my Thopter that I made on upkeep. I also had an Enlightened Tutor in hand, which I could cast before my draw step to get my 3rd combo piece to end the game. So Joe is very lucky that they had the mana to kill everybody at 1 turn, because I had it on the next upkeep.
Special thank you to our sponsor, Tales of Adventure.
Get Magic card singles, play Magic, win. Get Magic card singles from TOA, play Magic, help out Decked Out, double win. And TOA has the best selection of Magic singles from everything from the most basic printings to the most premium versions you can possibly get.
And in addition to helping out your favorite Commander show, you'll also be getting 5% off. If you use code DECKEDOUT at checkout, you will get that 5% off your entire order.
What do you? Go, do it.
Yeah.
This is just like, it's like a guy with
A
frog tongue.
Yeah.
And it's like Phil Foglio, so it's like that. It's a very.
The bug is like a humanoid bug. It's like, oh no, you got me.
I just needed one more turn to kill the table, but so did everyone else at the table. The decks were pretty powerful. Joe was able to take out the table through an Elish Norn that turned off their ETB deck, so I'm pretty sure they earned it.
Moxfield is the best deck list site available. It has everything you need to customize, compare, and collaborate. View and brew the way that works for you. Moxfield is the only way that we can track and share all of our spiciest builds here on the show, and whatever Veggie is playing. Make sure to follow our Moxfield profile in the link in the description.
It took me a really long time to realize search for tomorrow. Tomorrow is Azami's familiar, and that's who they're searching for. They're not looking for tomorrow, the day. They're looking for Azami's familiar tomorrow.
Yes.
I never knew that. It took me a long time to realize that.
I don't get it, but I'm sure I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Would it surprise you to hear that I was also looking to eliminate a player on my next turn? I had a way that I could bring back the officious interrogation to eliminate whoever I wanted, Joe, and then I feel like I'm in pretty good shape from that position, but I needed more time. If only I had like a time machine or something.
Ultimate Guard is the industry leader in TCG accessories. We love their stuff, and we know you will too. In fact, every single playmat, sleeve, or deck box featured on this show is an Ultimate Guard product. So make sure to use the link in the description to support our channel and treat yourself to some amazing upgrades.
It's gonna look like I'm really a jerk. Yeah, if someone who's not on the inside joke is editing it, it's just like, dang,
I mean,
Joe.
you only have a 1/3 chance. The editor knows that you're.
Part of the reason we are recording this is so that way our other editors have episodes to
I'm
edit
not a
while
jerk.
we're
There's an
gone.
inside joke about it, I swear, guys.
We'd like to take a minute to thank our patrons. Without your support, this show would not be possible.
That's right, Ruth. I don't know if we have any patrons named Ruth, but if you're out there, then we thank you so much because you are the reason we can keep this show weekly.
And if you're not a patron, but you would like to try it out, you can go ahead and use the link in the description to unlock special perks. Monthly signed tokens from the guests and crew, signed tokens, I just said that, spell table games with us, and even have your deck list featured here on the show.
And of course, you can always support us, Ruth, by clicking like on the video and subscribing to the channel. That's all we have for you for today. We'll see you next time on
Decked Out. That was a mess.